Hello guys, it's Chamathon here. Today we're doing Bakugan BakuTech Retrospect Episode 1. Today's episode is on Flare Dragaon. Flare Dragaon was originally released in a blister pack as the first ever BakuTech release, BTC-01, though it was later re-released in a box as BTC-15 with updated cross-part connection points. This version was also re-released in BTD-01 Ocean Deck Team Dragaon. The attribute is, of course, Pyrus, and the G-power varies. The booster versions will be either 500, 520, or 540 Gs, while the deck version is 600 Gs. As the first ever BakuTech release, this is very old, being released all the way back in August of 2010. Taking a look at the ball form, you can see it is in red plastic, which is somewhat pearlescent almost. Has nice white detailing. See the metal on the crossparts here. These do have stickers you can put on, but they peel off pretty easily, so mine are off. You can also see some nice yellow and light blue there for the gem, and of course the MG symbol. Opening it up, there are some manual parts for Flare Dragaon. It does have its soul pieces, which will come out as such, and then also these horns here, which are posable, and you could move them up fairly high, though generally you're supposed to leave them around halfway open, but it is still an extra option to choose how you want these to be opened. When fully opened, you can see the full design, have the soul pieces with some nice detailing, have the cross parts open, you can see the hands detailed inside a little bit, head, its white jaw there, get the blue gem up here, some more yellow detailing. Also a blue gem on the underside here, some detailing on the wings, and of course the tail in the back here. And yes, in addition to plastic soul pieces, you do have these metal soul pieces, so it is nice to have released alongside the first ever Bakugan in BakuTech. Beyond that, there are no real special design elements here. Again, this was the first ever Bakugan released in the line, so it's hard to expect a ton here. Moving on to how to close Flare Dragaon. This is a fairly simple Bakugan to close. First, you'll want to close the manual parts. The easiest way I find to close it is to take these wings and fold them downward. Then to take the tail, fold that up. The head then pushes down, and then lastly these arms just kind of fold in, and there you go. Taking a look at the anime and manga, this was owned by the main character of BakuTech, Harubaru. This is of course the first Dragaon, however that does mean that it did not get as much spotlight in the anime. By the time it released in 2012, Rise Dragaon was nearing its release, meaning that Flare Dragaon and Grand Dragaon were moved along pretty quickly, but it was featured fairly heavily in the early days of the manga at the very least. Flare Dragaon also has a lot of variants. There really are a ton of these things. Beyond the regular release, which already had 3 different ways to get it, there are many recolors. Moving down the line here, we have the silver version with 540 Gs released in BTC-19, the Battle Master set. The gold version with 540 Gs released in BTC-20, the Perfect Stand set. This version also has metal souls, which are actually from Destroy Minicus, as well as plastic cross pieces from Van Falco. The Blue Blaze version has either 590 or 600 Gs and is from a blind bag, BCV-20 Blue Blaze. This version also is full plastic and is one of the few ways where you can actually get plastic Flare Dragaon cross pieces. There's a couple others like this though. The special color Fullmetal version has 600 Gs and is from BOT-01B, the Battlefield DX set. However, this features the original mold of the cross-part connection points, so they re-released this with an updated mold in a blind bag BCV-24 Golden Armor. This version also has 700 Gs. The blue clear version has 700 Gs and was released in BTA-22, the Dragaon Legends set. This version is full plastic and is another way to get plastic Flare Dragaon cross pieces. The Go version has 600 Gs and was given to Tavenel Cup participants who used either Gogaryu or Gigahorus. This also has full plastic pieces and is another way to get plastic Flare Dragaon cross pieces. The Dark Seis version has 600 Gs and was released at the World Happy Fair in winter of 2013, with 100 being available. This is yet another way to get plastic Flare Dragaon cross pieces, as this is another full plastic version. The BakuMetallic red version has 540 Gs and was released through a Koro lottery. The BakuMetallic gold version has 540 Gs and was the first prize for the Bakugan Battle Championship 2011 Spring Area Representative Tournament. The BakuMetallic silver version has 540 Gs and was the second prize of the previously mentioned tournament. The BakuMetallic copper version has 540 Gs and was the third prize of the previously mentioned tournament. And lastly, there were plastic cross parts released through various events. This is how you got Flare Dragaon plastic cross pieces in the original color version, and these were also typically released alongside plastic Destroy Municus souls. To finish things off, let's talk about competitive. When Flare Dragaon was first released, it was pretty incredible. Being able to have 4 metal pieces and just being a simple straight shot attacker made this thing really good. Destroy Municus was also good, but that required curve shots, and this thing was definitely the easier of the two to use. Unfortunately, it was one-upped only a few releases into BakuTech with Dragaon. This actually did release quite a bit later though, so Flare Dragaon still had a while to be good, but there weren't many BakuTech releases when it was at its peak. Dragaon's arms gave a bit of extra pop-out force, while also having a sort of vertical ring of sorts that allowed it to roll very straight. It wasn't a ton, but it definitely did build upon Flare Dragaon. Flare Dragaon was still a really good Bakugan, and wasn't that much worse than Dragaon anyway though. Other things like Hammer Cannon and Giganrada would release, and I would say these were better than Flare, as well as Gren. And once you get into the first true season of BakuTech, you got things like Rise Dragaon and later in the season, Kachiagel. Just within Pyrus, I think Flare Dragaon did become outclassed, but it was still a good option nonetheless. Obviously this does start to change when you get to BakuTech Gachi. I mean, you do have Dragaon, but also things like Gogaryu and Sanzu Halibos. It still remained a solid choice regardless, but it definitely was nowhere near what it once was. Even so, referring to my tier list, it does still remain in a fairly high position in B tier, which is definitely respectable, especially considering it was the first ever Bakugan released in BakuTech. But anyways, that's about it for this episode, so next time will be Destroy Municus, so stay tuned. Anyways, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.